So we had a different kind of style. It was more meandering and what they call now jam band. So that was what we did the best, and that's what we did. So the people kind of really got behind it. And then we started to notice that people were starting to come with cassette. Remember cassette machines?
Oh,
It's hard to remember that far back, but they used to be cassettes.
I think I might have bought a cassette or two in my life. I started really buying things like right when it was the transition to CDs, and I mostly just bought CDs.
You were almost born digital, almost.
Almost. Well, I remember before the internet very clearly. My kids don't. My kids can't imagine.
That's amazing. Yeah. I remember before the internet. Yeah, wow. So we noticed them starting to come with cassettes and recording what was cassettes then. And then they started bringing little reel-to-reels. And the gear started to become more sophisticated, and they couldn't hide it anymore under their coats and everything because they were hiding it.
So this was like, when they started, it was just like tape cassette recorder things, like really very primitive.
Very primitive, just single, they would just probably hold it underneath their jackets or their shirts, and so the guards wouldn't see it, and they were, they were being criminalized.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what people think of with bootlegs, because that's equipment which even in a recording studio wouldn't get. Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, even under ideal conditions, that wouldn't produce a great recording, that equipment.
Not at all. And we felt that, hey, they came, paid their good money to get in, they want to record it, let's make them feel at home, let them in, let them record. And we'll, not only that, we'll take because then they started to become a nuisance to the other concert goers because they had microphones, and once they were able to be visible, then they started to get more sophisticated with stereo mics and all of that stuff. So we made a taper section for them. And so we treated them like, first-class citizens, and we really didn't understand what we were doing and what the consequences were. Of course, that's what created the Army. And then they had the thing called the Grateful Dead free tape exchange. And you never could buy these things. It was kind of like the unsaid code. You don't sell these things. These are like oral treasures that you give to someone you love. You make a copy and you give it, or someone else gives it back to you. So there became this kind of trading underworld of what they called themselves were tapers. And that's where it all began. And those tapes went around the world, and they were the greatest advertising for our music and our whole scene.
It's very interesting how you had such a different attitude to that than so many other acts who are like, those people are stealing our stuff. They're benefiting in some way, even though they're not benefiting over what we're doing. They're taking our things, and they're building all this stuff and this traffic to whatever it is that they're doing. And many other bands just decide that they're criminals. And
no, we don't like rule number one.
Yeah.
Do not criminalize your fan base. I mean, even we knew that.